What's up YouTube, this is Fate, bringing you another deck profile, and today I'm going to be showing you my updated version of TG Nekroz. I figured since I hadn't done a deck profile for a really long time, I'd start off with one of my more favorite builds I'd just recently created. And considering how the ban list messed with Nekroz a little bit and that forced me to get a little more creative with its support, I decided to put a little more attention on this, tweak some things in some areas, leave some things alone in other areas, and I got a gem of a deck right here. Plus, as far as the tweaking goes, it also doesn't help that once $100 card fell into my $8 budget range, so I got a little more leeway from there. So without further ado, let's get started. For the TG engine, I'm just going to go quickly from the stuff that hasn't changed as much. So I still run the triple TG Striker, triple TG Warwolf, triple TG Rush Rhino, and the double TG Cyber Magician. These guys kind of self-explain themselves if you've watched the last deck profile, and even with the stuff happening in this past ban list, I still did not feel like to have much of a change in that lineup at all. For the Nekroz part of the deck, obviously gotta keep the triple Manju. He's your gateway to all of that stuff. And sadly, no Shrit this time, just because, well, ban list got him. So to help support the engine a little more, well, I actually just ended up sticking with the two Clausolas, the double Trishula, the one Unicore. This is the lineup that you guys know from the last video, and unfortunately, Unicore going down to one because it got knocked down to one. But now for the two newcomers that helped kind of salvage and save this deck a little bit. One being Nekroz Of Brionac. Again, the main reason why I end up getting this guy is this build is originally oriented for a budget focus and for people who want to play Nekroz, and well, he dropped down really fast and really hard price-wise right into my budget range, so figure it's time to pick one up and work him into the build a little bit, and he definitely has a really good home here. And I also added in one Nekroz Of Gungnir. Now originally I did have Dance Princess for this build, considering I used to run Cycle in my Ritual lineup, but we'll get to that in a second. But Gungnir does offer a unique focus that the build didn't have, not only protecting some of your monsters to keep them around on board, but also gain through some problematic cards that would normally stunt TG or Nekroz plays, Kaiser Coliseum being the biggest defensive threat that this deck has with the way you want to swarm the board with this deck. So Gungnir definitely has a really good home in this build. Still no Valky yet, considering all the other deck projects I have going and whatnot. Valk's still the priciest of the bunch, so yeah, sorry Valk, you're being held out till further notice. That is it for the monsters. On to the spells. Since the last time, I've now changed around my ritual count to 3 Nekroz Of Kaleidoscope and 1 Nekroz Mirror. Now originally I had Kaleidoscope down to 2 and 1 Cycle on board, but that was mainly because Shrit was also a part of the game, and it helps give you that speedy revive plays with Trishula. But since Shrit is no longer a part of the whole lineup, you don't have that ability to do that as easily with Cycle and Trishula and some of your other boss monsters. And the Cycle ended up being more of a clog to the deck. So upping it to 3 Kaleidoscope gave it more of a ritual summon ability with some of the other guys from the hand. And that's actually one of the reasons why I was able to finally put in Gungnir here, because I was actually able to use Gungnir a lot easier with 3 Kaleidoscope instead of 2 Kaleidoscope in the Cycle, so that was my reasoning for the change on that. Other than that, spell lineup goes through a little bit of a change. Double MST, 1 Preparation of Rites, because the Nekroz engine does become a little bit more important this time around and you want to search for those pieces. 1 Rhoda, because it went down to 1 the last time we did this deck profile. And I still kept in the one of Soul Charge and Raigeki. That's it for the spells. Onto the traps. Like I said in the last video, how Nekroz kind of dominate the spell side. TG still have the trap side with triple TG EM1, otherwise known as my favorite creature swap of all. And also, since the last time, I was actually able to pick up a third one of these, so now I run triple Jar of Avarice. And with the recyclability of this deck, it is a very welcome piece, especially with Cycle gone and not being able to use as many pieces from the graveyard as you once were used to be able to. Recycling becomes a much heavier focus part of the deck. And for those of you that say, well, I want to try this deck out, but I'm still more budget focused, so I can't get my hands on 3 Jar of Avarice. Even though it won't be as functional with the deck, you could still swap out triple TGX2 DX2s to help support the TG engine, and the TGs will keep you fighting for a while longer at least. So if you can't get your hands on the triple Avarice, that would be the second route to go. And then to round things out, I still kept in the double Call of the Haunted for reaction plays with my TGs in the graveyard to get the Searches off during end phase, and one Soul Mourning because gotta keep Soul Mourning in because pendulums are definitely a new threat for this game's meta. That's it for the deck lineup. On to the extra deck, and I'm just going to speed through this because it goes through relatively unchanged. So we still have the Armades, Goyo, Nuke the Board, the Stardust Brothers, Scrap Dragon, Trishula, Star Eater, Daiguster Emerald, Herald of Arclight, Double TG Wonder Magician, Naturia Barkion, Mistworm for the extra level 9 Kaleidoscope play, and other shenanigans, and the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon because that Call of the Haunted Kaleidoscope combo is still very much live in this deck. And with that, that is my updated TG Nekroz deck profile. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And until next time.